Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamline Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we are talking about putting names on bills in Clio. And what I mean is that many of you may have discovered that when you create a bill in Clio, you really are only allowed to put the client's name on that bill. That's the way the bills are formatted, that's the way they go out. And unfortunately, a lot of us practice in areas where we might have multiple clients. A lot of times, I'm thinking of like an estate planning situation where we've got a husband and a wife. That's pretty common. And it's frustrating to not be able to put that second person's name on the bill. And so I wanted to point out to you guys why this can be a problem. So here we are in our Clio screen. And if you see, let's hop on over here to a bill. I've got a couple of bills here, and we'll pull up this one here. Right here, Clio's feeding in the name of the client. And again, if we only have one client, that's not a big deal, not a problem. But if we have multiple clients, obviously that doesn't leave us any room to be able to put two people's name on a bill. So I'll tell you what Clio recommends as a workaround. If you watch their or look at their help section, they do have suggest a workaround that you can find in there. And basically, it's this: they want you to go ahead and come over to the clients right here. I've gone to the matter now, and this is our client. And you'll see the address starts right here, right? Um, so if I go into this client and I go ahead and edit that client, and we've got the address right here, they suggest going ahead and putting the additional person's name right here. So maybe we've got, let's see, this is a Mr. Vicente, so maybe we've got a Mrs. Anna Cardonia. And that way, when we create the bill now, then Anna's name is going to show up right below Vicente's, right on top of the address, right? And so this is a hack you can use in order to have both names appear on the bill. Now, it does work to have the names appear on the bill, and that is nice. However, it can cause other issues. And so I wanted to make you aware of these issues in case you try this workaround. And that is this. I'm going to go ahead and say we're not saving that. When we look at our matter here, one of the strongest tools I think Clio has is their document automation. And so if we were to use document automation, we may very well want to pull in the client's name, of course, and then also the client's address. And if there are times in our document automation where we ask for the client's address to be placed in the document, now if I've used Clio's hack here and Anna's name is right above the address, now whenever I put the address in a document with document automation, it's going to read, instead of just the address, it's going to read Anna's name and then the address. Now, of course, if I'm not using document automation, this may not be an issue for me, and this workaround may work just fine. But if you are using or plan to use document automation in the future, then I'd suggest to you that may not be a very good solution. I much prefer, in my cases, to have my contacts split out separately for many reasons, but one of which is I'd rather know which phone number is my client, which phone numbers is the husband's versus the wife's, or client one versus client two, which email address belongs to each person. When we start, I've seen a lot of people go ahead and just put the client's names together in the contact area like this. So if I've got, I'm going to edit my contact here, and sometimes they'll do something like, and Anna, we'll add her here. The problem is when we do this, same problem. So now it shows up here, Mr. and Anna. The same problem though, if I ever go to do document automation. If I go to do document automation now, I can pull in the names together, but if I ever want those names separately, which I may in a power of attorney or in a trust or a will or anything like that, now I can't split those apart because Clio thinks it's one name. And so again, the issue becomes if I'm using the document automation or if I'm trying to keep these two contacts separate for purposes of tracking contact information, it becomes very difficult. So I would suggest to you to think a little bit further about how you're presenting your bills to your clients. Of course, again, it would be very nice to be able to um, basically have both names on the bill. However, let's think about, since that is not an option the way that Clio is currently set up, let's think about why we need that or why we want that, right? A lot of times, frankly, especially if we're representing a married couple, is it really making that big a difference as to whose name is on the bill when they're both responsible for paying for that? I would suggest to you that it may not be as big an issue as you think it is or are making it out to be. And I would encourage you that you'll get a lot more use and a lot more um, uh, power, so to speak, out of Clio if you're using the document automation as opposed to if you're using one of these two hacks in order to put two people's names on the bill. So please do. I would love to hear from you, by the way, as to why you want to put two or need to put two names on the bill. I understand why you want to. I think it's very logical, and I hope that Clio does make that improvement in the future. However, at the current time being, I'd love to hear why you feel the need like you have to put two names on a bill. Because I would suggest to you that maybe it's not as important as we think, and that being able to use that document automation is going to be a lot more powerful than just having the ability to put two people's names on a bill. Again, hopefully that changes in the future. I appreciate you joining me tonight. I appreciate any feedback you want to give because I would love to be able to help you work through this issue and present the bills the way that you want to present them and get the power out of Clio. Thanks for joining me tonight. Have a great, great evening.